It must be Christmas in June. You want to know why? What I have in my hand right here, guys. That's why. Rock and roll. This is Vahography. I'm Vahagen, your rock and roll photographer. I am the proud owner of the Nikon 105 1.4 E portrait lens. Right here, baby. Wow, massive. I picked this lens up yesterday, and let me tell you right now, this is a beast. I thought my 85 was something for portraits. It's been my go-to for portraits. But the 105E 1.4, man, like I said, I picked this thing up yesterday. I haven't had much time to play around with it and take some real portraits with it. But the snaps that I did take, I'll tell you right now, it blew me away. I was just like, what? Wow. 5 years ago, this lens was released in 2016. Back to the Future. Hey, by the way, you like my shirt? A big fan of Back to the Future 1, 2, and 3. Big fan of the movie. Going to the future now, 5 years, I finally have a chance to own one of these beasts. Been busy shooting. I really didn't pay attention too much of the Nikon 105E. That I was really happy with my 85 for portraits and my 7200 for portraits. Both awesome lenses and both must-haves. Let me try the 105E. Heard a lot of good things about this lens. The quality of the image, the sharpness, it's razor tack sharp, even at 1.4. Now, can you imagine if I stop it down to f2, 2.8? Wow, the quality that you get from this lens is just out of this world. It's a pricey lens. It's not cheap. You know, it clocks in at about $2,100 plus tax, brand new. And as far as the used market goes for one of these guys, you know, you won't find much out there in your local market. You might see one or two here and there, and they go by fast. They go if you see one, they sell for about $1,500 to $1,600 pre-owned in great condition. Now you do see them on eBay going for that much, sold listings. This lens right here, it's not a light lens. It's not light. It's a heavy beast of a lens. Now to compare it to the 85G that I have right here. Oh, where is that lens? The 85. Oh, right here. To compare it to this guy right here, my go-to portrait 85G 1.4 lens, you put it next to the 1.4 105E lens, and look at that. Look at the differences there. Now, as far as weight goes, the 105E clocks in at around 985 grams. 985 grams. And the front element is just gorgeous. The front element is just amazing. The difference is, it's a massive difference when you're talking about body weight and size of lens. 1.4, I mean a 105 millimeter, and the 85, which is my go-to for portraits. Awesome lens, but I don't know now. You know, the images that I took yesterday, it blew me out of the water, and I was like, what have I been doing this whole time? But yeah, no, I'm just kidding. But the 105E, you might be thinking to yourself, what is the difference? Why is this a G? Why is this an E? The E stands for electromagnetic diaphragm mechanism. I was reading up on this lens. The explanation here, an electromagnetic diaphragm mechanism in the lens barrel provides highly accurate electronic diaphragm or aperture blade control when using auto exposure during continuous shooting with conventional D and G type lenses. The diaphragm blades are operated by mechanical linkage levers. It's got 3 ED elements, fluorine coat. I cannot wait to put this in its paces. I cannot wait to shoot a real assignment or real gig. Now, this is a short preview review of this lens. I want to call it a short initial preview review. The true official Vahography style review of the 105E will be coming soon. Bring you real sample images of a real world gig with me using this lens right here. But I was so excited yesterday that I got this lens that I had to make a video and I had to preview it. I had to share my excitement with all of you guys today. It has a lot of that 200 f2 characteristic, that $5,000-$6,000 200 prime lens that I'm talking about. This is probably a very close to that as far as background blur and sharpness. This thing just disintegrates the background, and it does it in such a good quality way. The bokeh is just buttery and it's just amazing. So that's my initial thoughts of the 105E right now. The images that come out of this lens so far that I've noticed personally is sort of like that quality you get from a $6,000 or $5,000 Leica lens. It's just tack sharp. The sharpness that you get from Zeiss, those expensive Zeiss lenses. But here's some images that I took yesterday and today out and about. Amazing background blur, amazing colors. Just very happy with the results. So let's take out the rear cap here. As you could see, the body of the lens is just huge compared to the opening there you got. It's crazy. And it's weather sealed, silent wave motor. Let's see with the hood. The hood that it comes with is a HB79 hood. And I got my D850 right here. Let's mount this guy up. I just want you to see the size and weight. This is a D850 with the Nikon vertical grip. Okay, so here it is with the 105 1.4 E lens attached to a Nikon D850 with the MB18 grip. Lens, body, and hood, guys. Right here. Nikon D850 with the 105 1.4 E lens. It does take 82mm filters in front, and it's not your typical 77 just because of that massive front element. It's 82. I want to see how it does, and this is first time. This is the first time ever. I didn't try video on this lens at all, but I really want to do it. I really want to show you guys some results of video. So why don't I go ahead and mount this guy to that camera and see what we get. My initial, video clip with this lens. First time ever, guys, for me. This is the first time I'm going to try this. So with the FTZ adapter, I will mount it onto a Nikon Z6 and do some video clips right now. Yeah, I will shoot at wide open at 1.4. Should we mount the 105E? Let's give it a shot. All right, hello. Wow. Look at that front element. Jeez. That thing's just eating up that whole Z6. I can't even see the Nikon in front of the camera. Wow, that thing looks just gorgeous. 1.4 right now, guys. 1.4 wide open. Now I had the 50mm on before this. Did not change the location of the tripod. All I did was mount the FTZ adapter and 105 at 1.4. How does it look? Everything else same. White balance, nothing's changed. Just this is 1.4 with that 105E lens. Hey, let's do a bokeh test real quick. My trusted D850 camera body. My trusted D850. I'm curious to stop it down a little bit. And another thing I want to do is back the camera up a tad because the shot is just too tight, I feel. But let's stop it down first and see if we get some more sharpness into the picture. Stopped it down just a tad. It's just a tad, 2.2. Just a little bit. And now what I want to do is back it up a little bit, so we can get more of a usable angle, more of a realistic angle. If I were to use this lens for interviews or video clips, probably not be shooting this tight. Maybe on a B-roll clip I would, but if I were doing a standard, camera and microphone talking setup, it would not be this tight. So let me back it up. Okay, this is probably more realistic as far as the distance goes. When using a 105, doing videos with this type of setup. But yeah, I backed it up a little bit, switched it back to a 1.4, wide open, and just wanted to see the results. Like I said, I couldn't wait for the official review. I wanted to get something out there for you guys just to see, in case you were looking for something like this gem of a lens. Man, I can't help but noticing and commenting about that front element. It's just gorgeous to look at. Hey, what can I say, guys? I'm a big fan of camera gear, right? I mean, what photographer isn't? Just wanted to see the difference from wide open 1.4 to 2.8. See if we get an additional sharpness from these video clips. I bumped up the ISO just a tad, but yeah, 2.8. Let's see if we get some bokeh in there at 2.8. Any difference? I love these tests. Rock and roll. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching my initial preview review of the 105 1.4E in 2021, 5 years after the release of this beast of a portrait prime lens. I don't want to give you my conclusion, my official conclusion of this lens until I really take it out. I want to compare images that I actually take at a paid assignment of models or brides with beautiful backgrounds and see how my initial experience was using it, and also comparing the images that I get, the results I get. And from my initial experience with this lens, I know that it's going to be amazing. I mean, I was looking over the Nikon website and it's labeled as the ultimate portrait lens. I do a lot of weddings. I do a lot of photo shoots. I love portraits. I love taking headshots. I love photographing people. So if you're a portrait photographer and that's your main gig, and wow, 105 right here, guys. Really awesome. I mean, there was a 105 f2 back in the day. I think in the early 80s or 90s. It was an f2 DC lens, and that lens was, that lens is a cult classic. The background blur that lens produces is a Nikon favorite amongst users. I think this lens is the predecessor to that 105 f2 lens with the f1.4 faster glass with the modern technology and all that goodness packed into this $2,000 prime. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on the 105E lens right here. If you own this lens in the past, if you still do, you sold it, or you regret selling it. So in general, if you're a Nikon shooter, your thoughts on the 105E. I'd love to read that. I'd love to check it out. And also, if you haven't subscribed yet to Vahography, go ahead and do that as well. Like and subscribe. The more likes I get on videos, the more this video goes out with the YouTube algorithms, the more we can produce better and bigger content for you guys. So hit that like button, hit the bell notification, and subscribe to Vahography. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. The Nikon 105E right here. A full-on review coming up very soon. This is Vahography. I'm Vahagan, your rock and roll photographer, and I can call myself a proud owner of the 105E finally. Rock and roll.